Gigi.
Good evening, Big. Sorry, I just came back from a little bit of a mini break while I get things set up. What are you up to tonight, friend? I missed the GG because I had to do some pre-stream stuff. It's a really chill kind of song. It's really laid back. I'm like, final grind. Yeah, I thought about getting on after stream, but there's nothing else I really want to get, and I'll be within striking distance of. Like, I really won't. I'd have to earn like 7 layers to get to the next one, or 7. It ain't good. I got a minute before I get anywhere close to anything I want again, which is V-Bucks. I don't mind getting Golden Peter Griffin, but I'd have to get everything else on the page to even unlock him, and to get him it's 5 levels anyway. Hopefully that means the ad break's over with. Devi Cat rated me last stream, and she was the one that was going to help me with my ads. Oh, as I say that. I know, Big, you don't have an ad break because you're still subbed. It said you subbed last week. And I'm just like, oh my, well, not last week, last stream. And I'm like, I literally did it so that it would be a pre-roll, and then because Devi had said that, the settings aren't really the best for an affiliate. They're better for like a partner. So she kind of helped me reset things so it's a little less annoying for my viewers. Because again, I don't need partner ad settings. Ad settings don't make you partner. It just annoys people when you have less viewership. If you're a partner, you usually make more money with the ad revenue because you have dozens of people coming in. And even one of my other friends, who's an art streamer, he makes good bank, but then he has regularly 20 viewers in his stream. So he's going to make good money off of that. I have like an average of 3 viewers a stream. So I'd be much better to scale it back some. Still make the money, but, make less of it. Not less of it, less annoying push of it. I didn't want to have it annoying anyway. I was enjoying the revenue, but, I didn't need to be, racking up annoying amounts of advertising. So I just had that little chime. Ding, ding. C1, wait, not C1. W, warm gray one. Right? We still have it available, don't we? Boom, wa-da-da-da-da, wamp-wampa, one. Little drum kick. You have 40 something. I had like an average because I had like at the end of stream when Debbie rated me, I had like an average viewership, I think of 16 or 17 viewers because of her raid of like 90 people. And granted, when raids sometimes happen, sometimes people drop out. And one of my raids didn't count because one of them was me. One of her raiders was me, and that doesn't count. But it helped. Like, it really did boost my numbers. Let's see, creator dashboard. You're live! I know that. Ding dong. When you look at the numbers, I'm like, you can see the average of 14 for this stream. We're going to pull up real quick and you'll see. That ain't it. Wrong button. But this is my average viewership. 2.1. 3.3, even 2.3, 1.4, 0. That's when I went after midnight or something. And then Tuesday, I guess I went into midnight again on that because it says Wednesday. Yeah, so I went past midnight, I guess. So there's 3 viewers there, 2 average viewers, and then we come to this stream. Wait, I wasn't live on that day, February 29th. Oh, no, Thursday. Right, okay. So 3, 2, 14! So guess which stream Debbie rated? Could be this one. It makes a huge difference. It really does. Kind of curious to see if... Anyway, let's see, earnings. I don't care if I show my earnings on stream. That was your Prime sub right there. $11. That's not too bad. $7 in paid subs. 2 for that, so about $11 there. Not bad. It's pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty good revenue. Every 6 or 7 months, I get a small payout. That's mostly because I got a friend who is pretty much put on the Prime, which gives you a little bit more of a payout because Prime, you've already paid for it, so they give me more of it because they're like, we don't need to advertise. We don't need to advertise because we got our money from the Prime, so I get a little bit more from that, which is nice. Because that means my viewers are getting more value in supporting me. And you got it for free anyway. Like, if you're already a Prime member, it's not like you're paying extra to do that. You're getting... Everybody that has Prime, everybody has that. And they're basically wasting it, which is a shame. But then, a lot of people don't care about Twitch. They just simply don't care. Well, that's their prerogative. But it also means that almost everybody in the world is wasting a Twitch Prime sub because they don't care to watch Twitch, and next thing you know, there's Twitch Prime to be had. Insert dog noises. Woo! How are you tonight, Greg? I need an eraser. I was talking to Big about the last push to Fortnite. And I probably will play some tonight, not during stream, probably after stream. But I was saying that, I've got pretty much everything I want. The only thing I might want, I am nowhere near getting. My main focus would be to get to the next tier of the coins, and there's no way I'm going to get to it. I have to get through Golden Peter Griffin, which is at least 25, and to even get to him, I'm going to need to do, a ton of grinding, because you can't even get that last epic skin until you do everything else on the page. Hence my problem. I won't be anywhere near the rest of the stuff on the page for a hot minute. So to even get, like I said, and to get past the page, I'll have to get Golden Peter Griffin without a doubt, or you won't clear the page. So I would need at least 5 levels to get through the page, plus whatever I need to get to do to even get the honor of spending the 5 levels to get past the page. Ben better. Oh no! I finished the battle pass. Yeah, I finished the regular battle pass before starting Mass Effect. Then I ended up hating Mass Effect 3. Oh no! We talked about that. You said you consider it one of the worst. Well, I've heard it was well, we didn't talk about this, but I remember hearing that Mass Effect 3 is oftentimes panned. People felt like it was anticlimactic and undid everything that they were hoping for in this franchise. Ultimately, everything I did for games 1 and 2 really didn't matter. What a tremendous waste of my time. That's what the number one consensus I heard about that was, wow, everything I did in Mass Effect 1, 2 didn't matter, because 3 basically was whatever. Certain things were destined to happen. Yeah, you're going to need to grind that tonight because the new season starts tomorrow. I know that. Mass Effect 2 is one of the worst games I've ever played. Mass Effect 3 is boring as sin. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. They feel a lot of folks feel like the choices they made in the other games had no consequences. I'm right back to the whole point of playing Mass Effect 1 and 2 was so that you felt like you accomplished something. And then you get to the end of 3 and you're like, well, I could have really made any choices and it wouldn't have mattered one damn bit, would it have? I need a darker sandy color, probably around a 3. I want to back that up, though. Listen to that counter melody in the French horns. I'm going to back it up. It's after this. Listen to the horns. It's insane. Yeah. I wonder if he meant to reference Cuban Overture from Gershwin, because it does very much reference Cuban Overture. Now I want to listen to Cuban Overture. At the end of the day, if someone died that's supposed to show up in 3 and they got replaced with someone in the same race as them, so I guess my quest to cure the genophage doesn't seem to care if Morden is dead, because some other rando guy would take his place, which kind of ruins Morden as a character. Right, because he has no value now, because he's basically replaceable. I've always said, in any job I've ever worked, when somebody says, they'll never replace me, they can never find anybody, I'm like, you're the first one to go. And it kind of undoes that feeling, because everybody is replaceable. Because fate will find somebody else to take the exact same role. Well, no. There it is. It's very reminiscent of the TV show, if you've ever seen it, The Avengers. And before you go, who are the Avengers? Like, literally, this is how popular the Avengers were. When they actually released the Marvel movie, The Avengers, they had to call it the movie Avengers Assemble, because in Britain, the Avengers means something totally different. Well, there was a movie that came out with Uma Thurman, and that wasn't really great. But that was based on the TV show, The Avengers. But that's exactly what I was hearing about Mass Effect, Greg, was that it basically was like, well, great. All the things I did don't matter because the decisions I made had zero impact. And I hear that was kind of like the cheat that people felt. It's like, well, that basically made me feel like I did nothing all 3 games. I definitely want to listen. I don't know what this is. It's an ad, obviously. The Wild Robot official trailer. Is this a game or a video, or a game or a movie? It looks like it's supposed to be a video game. No. I want to listen to, it's called Cuban Overture, or Rumba. I think Gershwin's preferred title was, in fact, Rumba. But for some reason I got stuck with Cuban Overture. I'm going to pause this real quick. His views on curing the genophage also don't matter, because apparently curing the genophage isn't a frowned upon thing by creatures who actually created it, because, who needs world building when you can just snap your fingers and oops, all the bad consequences are fixed? Yep, exactly. It's lazy writing is what it boils down to. Funny enough, this piece by George Gershwin is one of the most difficult to play in concert. It's one of the most difficult pieces to play in concert, period. Because of the complicated cross rhythms in it. And I didn't think it was that hard, because the orchestras that play it well don't even make it sound that difficult. But apparently it's really difficult to play this piece live. Because of the percussion section, keeping everything straight in the percussion. Again, you wouldn't think so. You're like, this piece is hard? but it's hard to play live because of all the, like I said, all the cross rhythms. That's why I get on people when they say, "Oh, Gershwin was a great composer," and I'm like, he wrote this, and this is one of the most difficult pieces. Not that difficulty is a sign of greatness, but it's proof that he could write something sophisticated. He wasn't just writing Broadway show tunes. And he orchestrated all this, because that was another thing people say. His most famous piece, Rhapsody in Blue, he didn't even orchestrate that. That was orchestrated by Ferde Groffet. Yeah, because he didn't have time to orchestrate it. Neither did he know. But for his next piece, he went and bought a book and learned. And then when he wrote it, guess what? It sounded exactly like Rhapsody sounds. So, explain to me that. Explain to me how the output that he would have done if he'd written it himself sounds exactly the output he got when he did write it himself. It's because people like complaining about Gershwin thinking he didn't have talent because some people helped him in his early pieces, even though he wrote every note. He just didn't tell what instruments what to what. And there's actually proof, I think, that he did write it. It's just he didn't have time to actually write all the parts. Oh, that's not good. And that actually Groffet, like he wrote down, this is for the clarinet, this is for the horns, this is for the saxes. And Groffet just did the balance of it. John Williams does that too. John Williams don't do his own orchestrations. He writes it in a score and then he gives it to his orchestrator who then figures out all the... that doesn't mean he doesn't put it in the note. He does. But he'll write, this is for the strings. And his orchestrator goes, okay, this is how we do this in the strings. And John Williams will be like, okay, I want this group playing this group playing this group playing that, etc. But he doesn't sit there and go, first violin plays this, first violin, second chair plays this. He ain't got time for that. He's too busy writing the score. Almost all great composers, especially for film, have orchestrators to help them flesh it out. Because it's not that they can't compose, they just are too busy composing to worry about, should I put 3 horns on this or 4? If I put 4 horns on this, will it be balanced out of bounds with the trumpets? Let the orchestrator do that. In commercial work, almost always you have an orchestrator. Especially someone who's in high demand like John Williams. Anyway, I'm kind of excited for the new Fortnite season because they released a small video today. I was like, ooh, neat. Yeah, I saw somebody saying Overwatch did it better because they're doing a whole mythic tie to myth and mythology. And the number one clapback people were doing was, this is on the Battle Pass. And I'm like, yeah. As much as I do adore the fact that Overwatch did do a great event for the mythology, all the cool stuff's gonna be in the Overwatch in the Battle Pass for Fortnite. And some cool stuff was in the Overwatch one, but not the stuff we really wanted. So it's like, yeah, people are like, weird flex, bro. But, yeah, they did have better content, but you had to pay for it. So, oopsie. Kind of hard to hate on free gifts there. Fortnite had it, Overwatch didn't. Yeah, but I actually want to play Fortnite. Yeah, the game experience is so much better lately. But the thing is, I haven't played much Overwatch this season, but a lot of people say, oh, it sucks, the worst ever. And I'm like, when I played, it wasn't that bad. I was expecting to dread it. And the whole self-healing thing, I'm like, it only really plays in after a fight. So instead of waiting for your teammates to heal you up after the team fight's over, you just sit back and let it do it on next. And half the time, clueless, clueless people in quick play almost never healed you up between rounds. You'd be like, I need healing. You'd be a diva with 650 full health, and you'd be down to 625, 600, 590 health, and you're like, I need healing. And they look at you like, huh? You have like a whole almost full health bar. Yeah, but you're sitting there doing nothing. You're between fights. You should be topping off your teammates. And they're just sitting there like, huh? What? And you're like, the whole point is the fight's over. Now would be a great time to top off your teammates who took... Now, granted, you're not going to die in the next fight, but why would you go into a battle with, like 50, 60 health points missing because somebody doesn't want to heal you between rounds? And you get that all the time. And you're like, what's wrong with you? Literally, you could be sitting there healing me, and you're like, nah, you have enough health. So I don't get why there's so much problems with it, because I'm like, most quick play healers weren't paying attention to the fact that you needed a little bit more of a top off at the end of each fight. So all that's doing is kind of counteracting that stupidity. Because if you get to a point where you can actually not take damage for 8 seconds, you're pretty much... The only thing you're missing on is ult charge. But like I said, the average quick play healer isn't paying attention. It's not super difficult, but this is the slower part. It's when it really gets rocking and rolling. Oh, too early for that. I love how it just gets all the way to the top. It's like, just kidding. All the way again through the whole sequence of the counter medley of the French horns. Counter medley is when you have a second part that's going on at the same time. It's not meant to be the main focus, but it's definitely in there, buried in the texture. There's some pop songs that have some counter melodies. They're not very many, but there are a few. This is the part that really gets through. Like, I've heard orchestras take this at like half pace because they can't keep up with that little rumba rhythm. They can't keep up with it. Their percussion section can't keep it going, which is crazy because doesn't sound super difficult. But apparently playing it live is a beast. Also, I love how the French words are still going. Wham, 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 wham. They're still keeping that one chord per measure tempo going. I love this part so much. It's such a beautiful piece. It's so great. Like, it's a shame that piece is not more well known outside of, like, say, the realm of concert music, because that piece is just fantastic. I think it's because it's not played in concert very often, because it is not the easiest thing to keep up with rhythmically. Listening to it's no problem. Performing it is the beast, apparently. Because, again, you can follow it pretty easily. La da 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 dee, la It's all like pretty much spelled out. It's simple, and you have all these French ones going. That's very easy. Then you're the first to die, and they complain about you dying. Right? Yeah, these quick play healers play DPS too often. Well, I should say, I know they're not healing. They're support. No, they're healing. I mean, technically they're not. Technically, they took out all non-healing support. The only one that was in the support category that didn't heal was Symmetra. She was originally in support. And they go, why is she in support? She doesn't heal. And like she supports her teams in ways other than healing by providing defense and also teleporting people. And they still pitched a fit. So they moved Symmetra out of support, and now support became only for characters that heal other people. And now they're saying, but they're not healers, they're support. No, they're healers, because the only one that was supporting the team that didn't heal was Symmetra. Stop making it what it wasn't. You know what I mean? It's so dumb. It's like they complain that Symmetra isn't a healer, then they remove all non-healers from healing, and then they say it's not healing, it's support. Okay, baby boy. Whatever you say. No, do I want to listen to this one? Yes, I do want to listen to it eventually, but I want to get to this one first. Porgy and Bess. Oh, it's called Catfish Row. I kind of hate that name, but it's a suite from Porgy and Bess. I prefer calling it the suite from Porgy and Bess, honestly. Bum, 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 bum. You know, I'm a huge Gershwin fan. I've still never seen Porgy and Bess. I've never seen his only opera, which is a shame. I gotta eventually get down to watch that. You make time to actually watch it. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, 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 da, da, dum, dum. Dum, bum. Bottom, what about? Bum 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 bum. This chord is insanely layered. There's like so many different notes in that, it's insane. You also have bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum. That's why I get upset when I know that when folks really hate on Gershwin. Like, you hear how complex that chord is? I mean, that's as complex as stuff as you'd hear in, like, say, West Side Story, which wasn't for another 30, 40 years. But that chord is super complicated. So much layer to that chord. Only reason I don't like this song is it's overplayed. Is that my stomach? But during this actual scene in the opera, like, she sings the lullaby to her baby, and then the men of the house are playing, I think, craps, and so there's a part where they're singing counter melodies to it about the dice game, and she's looking at him like, stop, trying to get this baby to sleep, and all you're doing is playing dice loudly. But I think it's interesting that it's almost done like they're ignoring her beautiful lullaby, and you're like, man, anybody that was paying half attention and gave a care would actually be paying attention to this beautiful song. But that's the irony of the scene, you know, that they could care less that she's singing this beautiful lullaby. They're too busy in their own little world to observe the beauty of it. They're too busy playing their stupid dice game, you know? I would kind of say that's a theme of Porgy and Bess, is the men do their own thing, the women do their own thing. It's a shame, and I don't think Gershwin sympathizes with the men at all. I think Gershwin's sympathies are completely with the women of the town, and how, like, you know, the men are just seen as being like rapscallions, living their own lives while these women are doing a lot of the hard work. Again, this is coming from someone that's never seen the opera, that just knows about the music and how it's treated, and et cetera, et cetera. And then this piece references the fugue between, is it Sport and Life? Let's skip ahead. I don't want to hear this one. Is this next one the fight? Let me see. Yep. So this was referenced in the last piece. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Also, Gershwin using a piano prominently in the score, not as a color instrument as any other instrument, not as a solo instrument. I mean, it gets solos, yeah, but it's not like it's a concerto for piano. Like Jazzbo Brown Blues does feature the piano very heavily, but this features piano, but along with xylophone, and treated more like a xylophone type instrument than like a solo concertoing type instrument. God, it's so good. I prefer the parts of Porgy and Bess that are lesser known, honestly. Not that the rest of it, the famous stuff, is bad. It's just like there's just so much other good music in there that is worth mining. Like this is Hurricane, I think. It's one of my favorite pieces from Porgy and Bess, and it's literally about a hurricane blowing through Charleston, South Carolina. Literally, that's what it is. Because I think Porgy and Bess, Porgy and Bess is set in like parts of Charleston. And you can hear when the wind kicks up. Like, he uses a wind machine, but also other things like crescendos and swelling and all kinds of cool things. And he wasn't the first to use a wind machine. I mean, I'm pretty sure Richard Strauss used one first. It's basically a tumbler wrapped around, a fabric sheet, like a linen sheet wrapped around a tumbler. And when you, because if you rub fabric against something, but you go like this, it goes around in a tumbler, so you can turn it with a crank. So you go, it's called a wind machine. And it's literally just like a piece of fabric rubbing across a tumbler. And the faster you crank it, the more it goes. So it winds up making this very good breezy effect. Not unlike the wind blowing through something. And it makes a very effective sort of color thing for it, depicting storms, which has been used dozens of times throughout orchestral history. Gershwin wasn't the first and certainly not the last to use it. But he does so much more than just, I'm going to put a wind sheet in there. He does a great job. There's also something called a thunder. He doesn't use the thunder sheet here, but there's like sheets of steel. And I want to say Ferde Grofé used that for the storm cloudburst in his Grand Canyon suite. So there's another great American orchestrator. Gershwin doesn't get enough credit for being an orchestrator because he didn't orchestrate Rhapsody in Blue. But do you know how many times Walter Piston quoted from him? Gershwin has a lot of very unique effects that are found in other pieces, but are found better in Gershwin. He has better examples of using special effects. Hear that going? So it's like the surf and the wind kicking up. Yeah, when a storm passes through, this pops in my head in real life. I'm going to turn this up. I won't turn up for you, but I want to turn up for me. An actual hurricane bell he put in there, too. I should have warned you about that. I forgot it was there. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I love that piece so much because you literally hear when the storm kicks up, and you just hear all of the peril and the majesty too. That brass coming in, going boom, 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 boom. You're like, it's beautiful and yet terrifying at the same time. And that's what I think. Gershwin nails it. He's like, it's terrifying, but it's also beautiful and majestic. But it's still a freaking hurricane. And again, I think Gershwin nails that vibe so well of, yeah, you're facing something extremely dangerous. Let's listen to Second Rhapsody. I don't really listen to that one often enough. It's just called Second Rhapsody. Actually, it originally wanted to call it Rhapsody in Rivets because he actually wrote it for a film score. A fantasy dream sequence where this guy is dreaming all the sounds of the city coming to life. And so he wrote a bunch of themes for that sequence. But he was like, this is too good to waste on just a film score. So what he did was he fleshed it out and made a Second Rhapsody. which is a lot clearer in form than the original Rhapsody in Blue. Like every time, this is another one I think of a lot. When I see giant skyscrapers, I think of this piece. This is the secondary theme, which you'll hear a lot throughout this. There's two that, and now this one, which is da dee da da. Back to the first theme group. La, da, 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 da. Now a beautiful key change. So far to do that part too. Dun, dun, dun. You do that wide chord. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, that one just doesn't do as wide. But you literally go dun, 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 dun. And your hands spread out for that last chord. It just feels so good to hit that right on that perfect bass in the one hand and the higher notes in the other. Oh. There's a second theme group again. This does share a little bit of common with Gershwin's my other favorite pieces he wrote. The Variations in I Got Rhythm. A lot of the piano parts of this feel a lot like that. But the tricky part is because it is based on the themes he wrote for a film score, it's not quite as developable.
Happy guy, oh just a happy, happy, happy guy. Oh just a look at that, a happy, oh the happy dog. Oh just a happy, happy, happy.
How did that work? Thank you. How did that work though? I didn't know you could pay for that. Thank you for the biddies, by the way. But I didn't even know you could buy one that wasn't on the menu. Welcome on in. I'm like, there's a dog. Not me rabbiting on about Second Rhapsody by George Gershwin. Welcome on in. That is a happy. It is a very happy dog. I should show you the original image. Let me go ahead and see if I can put that in the second monitor. There we go. Pop. So that's what he looks like, and that's what we're endeavoring to complete. This was bare paper 4 streams ago. Literally, it was just a piece of paper. No, actually 2 streams ago, because I did progress on it. The stream 2 streams ago, it was just white paper, and I transferred the sketch to it. Did you model after your own dog? No, this is actually a commission. This is someone else's dog. Cup of coffee. Welcome on in. So I don't know much about the puppo. I do know that it is a late puppo. This is a commemorative piece. I didn't want to bring that up because I didn't want to make anybody sad, bring them the big sad, but this dog has since passed on. So this is a memorial piece it was commissioned by a friend of mine for someone else's friend's dog. So, well, they did have a nice dog. Very true, very happy puppy, and I hope I'm doing it honor. I feel like I am, but yeah, I'm honored to be given the chance to do this. You know what I mean? You're doing amazing. Thank you, Cup of Coffee. Thank you so much. I'd like to think I'm doing a good job. I hope I am. I'm looking for another warm gray. 2 and 4 should be good. Yeah. Warm gray 2 go there. Boom. Boom. It's like, just kidding. I'm glad to see you're doing traditional art. Thank you. I usually do traditional art. On a rare occasion, I'll do some gaming, and I do some digital art. But traditional is where I kind of grew up in. That's kind of my wheelhouse. But I have a lot of friends that do digital art. A lot. A cup of coffee. But other people, too. And somebody told me at work, because we had a whiteboard challenge where we were supposed to draw on a whiteboard, and I drew a cat freehand with my mouse, and it was kind of annoying. And they were like, I'm watching you live work on this drawing, and I just got to say it's very relaxing. So I'm like, I forget I underestimate sometimes how much fun it is to actually watch somebody else work on art, piecing it together one piece at a time. Okay, that's a good color. Digital is great too, but I really miss the idea of traditional on creating something physically. Yeah, that's what I have no problems creating digital art at all. I do. Sometimes I do a hybrid. Well, I'll start off with a traditional drawing and then digitally color it by painting in Photoshop. Paint with this bad boy right here. Let me see. I don't know if I can see it without wrecking my view here. But that bad boy right there, my Cintiq. So I'm literally drawing on the screen, except instead of a piece of paper, it's that. And so, again, it feels like the real thing, but the problem is when you're done, you don't have anything physical. And it's like, oh, I do indeed miss that. I miss having something physical when I'm done, No, there's nothing wrong with the opinion. I like the ability to use the tools, but at the same time, when I'm done with a digital piece, it's great that I don't have to scan it and clean it and make it ready for. It's pretty much ready for social media. The downside is I have nothing physical to show people. I have to pull up a computer screen, and that feels bad. But again, I like both for both reasons. I can't hit undo on this if I make a mistake, but there's also some sort of a I don't want to say rite of passage, but there is some sort of a satisfaction in knowing I have no safety net. It is where it is. If I make a mistake, it's there. It's there for the world to see. And that brings some satisfaction, maybe a little bit of ego. Look at me, I could do this without the undos. I don't really do too much art myself, but I doodle every now and then. There's nothing wrong with just doodling. I think the number one thing I hear from folks is, I can only draw stick figures. Or no, I can't draw, is the number one thing I'll hear. And I can't draw. It's like, well, you can write. Well, it's not the same thing. Yeah, it is. Writing and drawing are essentially the same thing. You pick up a pencil, and you're creating a character. In this case, a written character that indicates a letter. And I'll say, if you write the letter A, people will know what your letter A looks like, right? I mean, unless your handwriting's terrible like me. But at the end of the day, people will know all across the world that you've drawn, if they recognize Aramaic letters, that you've drawn the letter A. I think that means you're successful at drawing. But drawing what you want to draw, that takes practice. It really does. A drive. And that's why people aren't really born with talent. They're born with the drive to not quit. Because let me tell you, it is very discouraging. And there's been dozens of times I want to put stuff away. Last time I did something was a Mordecai from the regular show. I know that name of the character. Is that the Blue Jay-ish character? I don't know if he's a Blue Jay any more than Rocket Raccoon's a raccoon. Technically speaking, he's not. But I'm like, I thought Mordecai is the Blue Jay looking character? That walks up anthropomorphic and all? Upright? Unlike most blurbs who don't walk upright. They do walk, but they don't walk on their hind legs. Is the book okay? Yeah. I write too fast to take time to perfect a line. Yeah, and that's for me. It's like the only time that actually works successfully for me is when I am trying to make a messy line, and then you want to work fast. Bum bum. Bum dun 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 bum 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 bum. Check out His Majesty. About to get hit with some majesty here. Mark Hamill voice. Oh, you kidding? Mark Hamill's a great cartoon voice. I didn't know for many years he was the Joker, It took me a long time before I'm like, it's not that Mark Hamill. Like the Joker, like, hey kids, it's the Joker. That Joker. Like the one that basically codified that kind of Joker. And he did a great job with it. I bet I'm a lot of practice of doing that. And I was going to put it as a redeem, but I'm like, I don't need to be screaming Joker dialogue at 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. My poor wife will be like, I can't sleep when you're saying, he voice skips the gorilla looking guy. Interesting. Like good interesting. Not like, oh, interesting. No, like actually good interesting. Because I like learning about voice work. One of my favorite shows growing up was Animaniacs, and those guys on that show were talented. Tress MacNeille, Jess Harnell was wacko, and of course the ever great that Joker. Exactly that Joker. Also, thank you for the bits again. I was looking at my screen to make sure it paid bits before I was like, I don't want to thank you for bits if you didn't send them. Then people were like, thank you for the... Oh, never mind, you didn't. But no, you did. So thank you for that. But yes, that Joker. But Rob Paulson was the voice of Wacko. He's also on the Ninja Turtles, the voice of Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. So many voices. Have you ever seen the Honda Days commercials? Hey, I'm Mr. Opportunity, and I'm knocking. That's Rob Paulson, too. He actually has a place in commercial history. I was too young to watch Batman the Animated Series. It's on DVD, I know. I have all the whole series. And it's on streaming now, I think. And Kevin Conroy's Batman. I don't do a good Batman. Kevin Conroy's Batman is unparalleled. For many folks, that is Batman's voice. That's why when he voiced like different movies and games, my friend was like, "Oh my god, yes," because he still thinks of Kevin Conroy as Batman. He's the definitive Batman. But I was too old to catch it on Boomerang. It's not like I said. I think it's on Max as part of their deal with WB and X and the Warner and DC media. And let's be honest, that's the animated stuff is probably the best stuff DC's ever done. Boom, 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 boom. Marvel did write the movie decent. Yeah, DC did pretty good on the animation. Yeah, there's no complaints there. I think even Greg, who might be still here, loves DC movies. I want to say it was Mark of the Phantom is his favorite one, which is actually they made it for in theaters to tie in, and then they dropped it down to a TV episode. I think something like that. It's a very confusing story. Mask of the Phantasm, I think. Yeah, that was the best. Yeah, their animations. Yeah, DC's animation is incredible. Only one really doesn't land for me, and that's the Killing Joke because they messed up. You don't do that with Batman and Batgirl. No. That was not in the original comic. You did that to pad and cause controversy. I read the original comic for The Killing Joke. It is a phenomenal masterpiece, and they slandered it with that stupid crap they did with that, because it wasn't in the book, and it didn't need to happen even in an animated version to pad it out. Absolutely not. Ha! I didn't know this was on here. Well, this is fitting. This is called Promenade. It's from Shall We Dance, isn't it? Gershwin liked it so much when he was done with it. He was like, I'm going to, like... I don't know if he arranged it or if this is straight from the movie score. But Promenade is also subtitled Walking the Dog. It's actually from a movie where Fred Astaire and I think Ginger Rogers, they're walking their dogs on the decks of the ship, hence the name Promenade, hence also called Walking the Dog. And it's rather funny because I think they go, like one will go this way and it gets annoyed and goes the other way, and then the other one follows. So I think one is trying to avoid the other one. The other one's trying to like track them down to follow them, and they're like, "Leave me alone, okay? I'm walking my dog." So it's a rather comical scene. Hence the kind of rather comedic tones of this piece. But it's literally called "Walking the Dog" in some recordings because it is meant to depict them walking the dogs on the decks of the ship. And one's trying to avoid the other one, I think, if I remember my story right. Because I've never seen that movie either. I watched Samurai Batman movie when it came out in 2017 or 18. I didn't like it. I thought it'd be really cool with a Ninja Batman and turned out a bunch of machines, mechas like it was Pacific Rim. Yeah, and some Batman media just fails. But there is, I want to say that they've done like a Batman pirate one, a Batman. They've done a couple where it's like that actually succeeded. Bum, jump, jump, jump. I might listen to some of the Star Wars score. I was listening to that in the drive home. I had this real hankering to listen to the shootout in the bay when they're trying to rescue Princess Leia, and you hear the Rebel fanfare in A major, I think it is. And I really wanted to hear that as I was leaving from work, not to work, but from there. And I might listen to that next. I'm old enough to say which I watched the Scooby-Doo and Batman crossover. I remember when they actually, well, I was too young to actually see it live because it happened in the early 70s, and I wasn't around for that. But when they did reruns, I was old enough to see the original Batman, and it was always the Joker and the Penguin, and Batman and Robin would be teaming up with Scooby-Doo and the gang to thwart the Joker and the Penguin. I don't know who the voices were in that. I almost want to say it was the TV show voices. Yeah, it's a great idea. Like, it really is. What are we looking for? We're going to look for Star Wars New Hope. Let's just put New Hope. No, Star Wars. I own it, so you're not going to give that to me. Wait. Go back. Oh, no. Okay, I thought it was a breakdown of the... Doom, doom, doom. Of the score. No, because I just had a hankering to listen to it earlier. I am a guilty Trekkie and Star Wars fan. I have... You can't see them up there, but up there... Let's see if I can angle it right. All those up there are... Come on, baby, work for me. See all the Star Trek figures up there? I have a Guinan, Data, a Captain Picard, and I think a J.J. Abrams verse of the Kirk. I'm a huge Trekkie, but I also adore Star Wars. And I know there's a lot of people like, oh, Star Trek is better, Star Wars is better. I'm like, why not both? I mean, it's the way I look at it is Jules Verne is Star Trek. H.G. Wells is Star Wars. H.G. Wells was more concerned with the philosophy of why things were and like that kind of attitude. And H.G. Wells Jules Verne was more about, I want to explain how this works. Literally Technobabble. Literally Jules Verne fathered Technobabble. But let's get into Star Wars because this is good, but I just want to listen to something different now. We're going to listen to that anyway. Oh, that is loud. The only part of Star Wars music that's associated with Star Wars that was not written by John Williams. It was written by Alfred Newman. And Lucas wanted to bring it back because it had been out of favor. But notice how it's really tinny? It's mono. It had never been recorded in stereo. So when you have that big blast of the, it's the same key as the fanfare. It's the same key as Alfred Newman's fanfare. But because you went from mono to stereo, you get that blast of, oh my God, it's like seeing in HD. Because it's literally designed to be that way. Because the original fanfare is mono, so it sounds flat and tinny. And then when you get blasted with that stereo sound of the same key, it just sounds like the world explodes. And it's on purpose. It's sound design. New introduction is the new movies. If you like adventure, you'd probably like Wrath of Khan, number 2 of the movies. It's the most pure, and if you want to watch next-gen movies, you're going to want to watch First Contact. That one slaps. You can watch just First Contact. Even if you don't appreciate what's going on, the characters don't care. It's an action movie. It's straight, no holds barred. The deflector dish sequence is one of my favorite sequences. It's cut and dry. The enemy's trying to steal the deflector dish of this Enterprise. They have to stop them. Go. And that's all it is. It's people going in and stopping the deflector dish, fighting in outer space with magnetic boots on the outside. Perfect. And it doesn't feel corny or it just feels like a pure no holds barred action sequence. It's so well done. So original like William Shatner version, watch Wrath of Khan. If you like a comedy, number 4, Voyage Home. But if you don't mind politics in with your crap, watch number 6, Undiscovered Country. That one has a lot of fun moments in it, but it is kind of very much tied to real world politics with its references to the Cold War and the fall of the Berlin Wall. I mean, it's not, but it is. It's like, hey, psst, the Klingons are actually the Russians. We just can't say it. Lord of the Rings. That's not a bad fandom. I'll be honest. When I first watched Lord of the Rings, I was like, okay, I don't see what's so special about it. And then I went back and rewatched it when I was in a relationship, and I think that made my brain go... All of a sudden, what I thought was boring, slow, and pointless, or just slow, it clicked. And my girlfriend at the time, which is she's now my wife, we couldn't turn it off. Like, we were watching so much, we were addicted. And I remember thinking, oh, poop. No, okay. No important conversations.
Arakusamus is now following.
We don't need lavender up here.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Ha
I don't know if you can hear that, but if you could. No worries. Help me, only want to know what Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. There, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wabadooba Wooby, apparently. No. 13, 12, 11, 10. 2, 1, and we should be back. We should be back. Hopefully so. Hopefully everybody's back. First time I watched the extended edition, I couldn't go back to the theater edition. Which one? Of Lord of the Rings? Yeah. I have one of my friends, she is a die-hard, hardcore, old school gangster. No, old school lover of Lord of the Rings, and same. She can't, like, she's one of those folks that will watch the extended editions. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem is the books are so dense, meaning they're so filled with lore, that to cut them down to make a 3-hour movie, even a 3-hour one, is a disservice to that book. It probably would have been better served if it had a mini-series, but I don't know. I used to watch all the movies in one day, but the extended edition came out and it was like, takes a weekend. Yeah, this is true. And again, I'm all for, especially, like, you have to condense some things down, and some things don't film well. That was the problem with the movie Watchmen. The comic book is incredible, but the problem is you can't just film a piece of literature blindly. I mean, Zack Snyder did indeed create Watchmen and bring it to the big screen, but he filmed the plot of the book. He didn't capture what makes it a great piece of literature. And that's the tricky part, because J.R.R. Tolkien is a master of the English language. He was a linguist, if I'm not mistaken. So here's a language nerd writing something. And now you're going to take that and film that? You've just robbed what it is, written word on the page. And that's not to slander what Peter Jackson did. Absolutely not. But there is a lost in translation that happens in translating somebody who's so... Like, for example, imagine if someone tried to film James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. I've never read it. I couldn't even begin to fathom Finnegan's Wake. But you could film the plot of Finnegan's Wake, but you're not going to capture what makes Finnegan's Wake what it is in literature. But it's like the Amazon series. Well, Warner Brothers is going to make the Lord of the Rings series. If it's good, I'm going to watch it. But if it's like the Amazon series... Oh, I heard the Amazon... Again, coming from my hardcore friend that loves Lord of the Rings... she will literally be like, nah, miss me with that. She's a huge Halo fan as well as that, and she will be the first one to call Paramount out for the crap about the Halo series, and the first one to call out any Lord of the Rings missteps. She will. She's not a hater, though. Like, she will not hate on something that's good. She'll literally say, guys, why are you hating on this? This was actually pretty good. But she also doesn't pull any punches. If it sucked, she's going to tell you it sucked, and I really respect her opinions. Because if she says it sucked, it sucked. If she says, guys, chill out, take a breath, it's enjoyable if you give it a moment, it's pretty much probably going to be a good thing. And that's why I really respect her, because her opinions, she doesn't just crap on stuff because it's cool to crap on stuff. She will tell you it was good or it was bad. But she did say the Amazon series was not where it was at. And I trust her because she is a Lord of the Rings connoisseur. You know what I mean? I know her opinion. So when you say that, I'm like, yep, I know, I've heard of it and it's not good. I've heard it's not a good thing. But yeah, if you ever want to get into Star Trek, like the movies, I recommend. I'm hunting wabbits. When you played that sound. By the way, thank you for the bits earlier. But also, I completely messed it up because I said wabbit. Like I said, you want to watch, if you're talking about Star Trek, the original series cast, you'd want to watch 2 and probably 6. But 6 is very tied into real world politics. Like I said, it would be much better if you knew what the real world events going on at that time were, because it's very much like the people that made the movie were making it period relevant. They weren't just making an isolated movie like really a lot of good sci-fi. They were making it as a reaction to current events of 1990. So that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it without that, but it does help to understand it so you can get a deeper appreciation of what they're trying to say with it, because it is a very good movie. I love there's a moment in the very beginning where the Klingon moon Praxis blows up. That's not a spoiler. That happens right at the very start of the movie, and so one of the officers goes, "Should we notify Starfleet?" And Sulu looks at him, "Are you kidding?" Like, of course we're going to notify. He looks at him, "Are you kidding?" Of course we're going to notify Starfleet what we just witnessed here. You know, this is like a galaxy-shifting event. And it's little moments like that that are funny. Like, there's another moment later on in the movie where the main villain is just he is just, giving his villain speech, spouting off, and Dr. McCoy just goes, I would pay good money for him to just shut up. I'm like, wow. Like, you can tell they let their hair down a little bit more on that movie, and really went to town with it. They butchered Tolkien. Oh, yeah, no. And that's the thing, like, even though, okay, like I said, when I first watched Lord of the Rings, I didn't get it. Second time, I adored it. I'm not a hardcore fan, but I do love it. Like, I should go back through it again. And I have a deep respect for Tolkien, because I know he's a master. I haven't read the books yet. I need to probably. What was I going to say to that point? He's a master of the English language. I want to say him and, if I'm not mistaken, weren't him and C.S. Lewis like in battles all the time about who could be nerdier? I think I could be wrong on that point, but I want to say he was like they were, like they'd be like, oh, I can make a nerdier book with more different things, or maybe it was somebody else. But I want to say that they had kind of like word offs, like when you master the English language so well that you're challenging fellow nerds to their worddom, yeah, that gets my respect. That's why I don't listen to much rap, but the rap I do listen to, they're wordsmiths. They're not sitting there repeating the same words 15 times over and cursing. That's not mastering the English language. That's just rhythmically swearing. That is not, no. You need to be proving you can do something with the English language. Rhythmic swearing is not where it's at. We will not endorse that. Because again, if your main mode of communication is to be using the English language, because rappers don't sing, they're supposed to be using the English language with rhymes and rhythms. And if all you're doing is repeating the same 4 words and to a beat, you're not mastering anything, except testing my patience. I almost thought that was Jabba the Hutt. I'm like, no, that's not Jabba the Hutt. That's third movie. Oh, have you seen Rogue One? Not to change off the Lord of the Rings, but have you seen Rogue One, a Recluse Moose? That's one of my favorite Star Wars movies of all time. I know it's kind of like, it's like off the beaten canon. Oh, it's really good. I'm a huge fan of the music of Michael Giacchino, and that score in that is incredible. But that's not why I love it. You have Alan Tudyk voicing a robot called K2SO, and he's a jerk. I mean, he's an Imperial robot, and he's got an attitude problem. With his reprogramming, he's got a little bit of a snip. He's not like rude. He's just, how do I put it? He's like sarcastic all the time. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Solo. It didn't strike me. Solo didn't appeal to me at all. I will tell you, though, that honestly, Rogue One is worth it. Rogue One is definitely worth the investment of time. Because it's literally what leads up to A New Hope. It does a great job of tying in the end bits of Clone War, of the Clone trilogy, the first 3. It kind of picks up the loose bits of that and then runs with it and goes, okay, this is what happened moments before the 4th movie happened that ties into the 3rd movie. Tying Revenge of the Sith. Because it starts off like roughly about like 10, 20 years after Revenge of the Sith, I think, and then goes to about minutes before, and ends minutes before A New Hope. Literally tying into the first opening scenes of A New Hope. They literally refilmed some of the opening scenes of A New Hope for the end of that. And I do, like I said, I very much adore Alan Tudyk's work as the reprogrammed Imperial droids K2SO. Because he's way too rude to be on this mission. He really is. And if you know who Alan Tudyk is, he's a riot. He was the voice of, I hate to say this because it's such a small role. He was the voice of Hey Hey, the chicken in Moana. That's all Alan Tudyk. He also was, I want to say he was the voice of Count Wesselton in, because they kind of reversed it. They did a double joke. Because I think he was the voice of Count Wesselton in Frozen, And then they made him Duke. Oh no, sorry, the Duke of Weselton. And then they made him Duke Weaselton in. I think that was Alan Tudyk as well, and he was Duke Weaselton in Zootopia. So they flipped the joke and kept the same voice actor. Is the originals your favorite trilogy? Oh yeah, I love 4, 5, and 6. I grew up with those when they would put those on TV. Like once every summer, they would put New Hope on Friday night, Empire on Saturday night, and Return of the Jedi on Sunday. And I would always miss A New Hope because we would never watch TV late on a Friday because I was a school kid, for gosh sakes. It was on TV in like the early 80s. So I'd turn on the TV and we'd be like, oh crap, it's the Star Wars weekend. And we'd watch like the last half of Star Wars, and then we'd know to tune in tomorrow for Empire and so I always would see Empire and Return of the Jedi. Could be my parents just wanted me to go to bed on a Friday night and didn't bother to tell us. Could be that. I found out a lot of things my parents lied about when I was a kid. I was like, oh, so that wasn't this. That was because you just wanted me to go to bed. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh. Now the grand villainy is unmasked. But, yeah, I don't know about this one with Star Wars. But, yeah, I grew up not really seeing too much of A New Hope. Then, of course, there's Indiana Jones, thinking about Han Solo. That was another trilogy I grew up. Well, I didn't grow up with. I didn't see. What's the name of that one? Temple of Doom until I was already a grown man. I didn't see Temple of Doom, but wait, if I'm gonna do Bane, I'm gonna do it right. I didn't see Temple of Doom until I was already a grown man. You can do Bane, you gotta do it, have a mug and do it right. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of a rotation on this. Image, rotate 180 degrees. Flippy, flippy. There we go. Just to get fresh eyes on it. Sometimes when you get too tunnel visioned, you get too much on the details. Actually, let me do this. Ow. What Okay, good. That makes very little chance. Well, it was nice. Oh, yeah, very much so. Thank you for coming by. By the way, I meant to ask you this. How did you find us today? I'm glad that you did. And thank you for the follow. It happened during the ad break, so I didn't have a chance to properly thank you. But how did you find me today? I'm always curious to see how, because organic growth isn't something that happens very easily on Twitch. So I'm always curious, how did you find me? A lot of people will tell me they just saw me in the Discover page, and I'm like, or they just like browse the art category and they find me, which is a good thing. But being that I oftentimes don't have large viewership, sometimes I'm buried at the bottom. It's okay, though. I do what I do because I like doing it, not because I want to be at the top of the channel. Have a good night. Okay, you too. Maybe next time we can talk about it. Have a good one. Thanks for coming on in. I'll be back on Tuesday nights, same time. I was broadening art section to the first traditional art, non-inappropriate artists. Yeah, there's a lot of those, especially with the guys. I find I'm one of the few guys that actually doesn't draw inappropriate content. And I find that a shame, but it's true. I feel like all the guys on Twitch are pretty much drawing lewd content. And there's very few non-lewd artists in the men. But I mean, there's also women drawing lewd stuff too. Not to crash generalize the genders or anything, but I found it's very hard to find a traditional artist that's a male that's not doing anything lewd. I find quite a few ladies that are doing non-lewd stuff. But not a lot of guys. Even digitally. I feel like that's the shtick, you know? Anyway, thank you for coming on by. They do manga, and they draw manga girls of an exact same proportion. Heavy-chested, slender waist, and big eyes. Kind of a shame that that's the only body type that you'll see on Twitch sometimes. But anyway, I'm back Tuesday night. I'm Tuesday, Thursdays, 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you think about dropping by again, please do. Yeah. And there's good manga. There's really good, well-designed characters. One of my favorite artists, Debbie Cat, she is a digital artist that does... she does... Oh, that's not how you do it, Jay. That does kind of manga-y stuff. But again, she does really, kind of cutesy stuff. But at the same time, exactly, it's not all about girls that are heavily proportioned. It isn't. But that's often what you'll see. But anyway, thank you for dropping by. Appreciate your time. And you have a good night. You too. And turning this upside down really helps some of the details. This is kind of a bit of a mess. Tusken Raiders, man. Wow. I couldn't resist doing the little sand people sound. One of my favorite clips from Family Guy, I hate to say this. It's like, oh, this is worse than that time I tried to lead a choir of Tusken Raiders. And the guy goes, you were a little flat there. Hey, what? And they all scurry away. And he goes, what happened? And then here comes Obi-Wan. The sand people are easily frightened, but when they return, and in greater number. You're like, really? That's why they all ran away, because Peter was directing them and they got scared? Okay. I just think it's dorky when he's like, you were a little flat there. Oh my gosh, so dumb. Yeah, you were a little flat there. Like a sand person to be flat going, But I guess that's the humor of it. So we have this one. This is going to be the... Yeah, right there. Is this it? Yeah, this is the one right here. This is the one. So I'm going to fill that in a little bit. This does go like this. And then this one comes off of here, and it does this. And then right about here-ish, maybe? That's the Force theme, by the way, for those keeping score at home. Ha! Score! I did not mean to make a musical joke, but that is in fact the score. But it's this is called the Force theme. It's almost always used in context where the Force comes about. Not always, but usually you'll hear when the good Force, not the Sith Force. Usually you only really hear that when you hear like Obi-Wan or what's the other guy? Yoda or something. Yoda. You seek Yoda. Usually when you hear those guys talking about the Force, or Obi-Wan, or I think even Luke in the new trilogy, I think even Luke, when he talks about the Force, you hear... Here again with Obi-Wan directing Luke in his first endeavors about the Force. What is this? What is this conversation with a Jedi Knight? Is that what this is? Tales of a Jedi Knight. I knew it was something. Your father was was a Jedi Knight. My father was a pilot. He was a Jedi Knight. No, that is what your uncle led you to believe. But your father was a Jedi Knight, same as me. Look, sir. I'm like, look, sir, droids. You didn't know you get some dinner theater up in here, did you? They're over here like this. Look, sir. Look, sir, droids. They're holding up like some... Oh, no, wait. Look, sir, droids. He's holding up this ring of whatever fell off, probably C-3PO. I used to think it was like wrist shackles. I'm like, they weren't shackled in any scene. Then I realized it was probably a part of C-3PO that fell off during the storm. Not storm, during the sand trek. Sand trek. When he's like, we're done for. Oh, shut up, you little golden goober. We're done for. No, there's another one he says, we're doomed. Whew. And this, by the way, is the Empire's theme in this movie. Before John Williams had written the infamous Imperial March, dun 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 dun, and he does reference that in other installments of Star Wars, not as much. Once he wrote the Imperial March, Once he wrote the Imperial March, though, this dun 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 pretty much died with this movie. But there's a couple newer movies that they showcase that theme, and I'm like, yeah, the original Empire theme. Before there was an Imperial March. Before the Dark Times. Before the Empire. Thank you, Obi-Wan. And you know, Alec Guinness thought Star Wars was going to be stupid. He was like, oh, this is going to be so dumb and so lame. And then he got known for it, and he's like, well then. Like, I mean, he was known before. He was Prince Faisal in, you can't miss him when you see him in Lawrence of Arabia. You're like, where is he? Where is he? You watch about an hour of the movie, like, where is he? Oh, no, there he is. You can't miss him. As soon as you hear him, it's Prince Faisal. You know it's actually, in fact, Sir Alec Guinness. And you know immediately. And I think, like I said, at first it was kind of like, ugh, this stupid space movie. And then when he got known for it, he's like, well, you know, Star Wars is all about how quality you act. And like, really? You didn't want to be in this movie, and now all of a sudden you're hamming it up like you know everything about Star Wars, really? Because I think that's what happened. Like, at first he was like, this is going to bomb, this is going to suck, my movie career is over with. And then when he learned how much he was revered for playing Obi-Wan, he's like, well, it's because I'm a wizard, isn't it? And he completely like threw himself into the role, if I remember correctly. Like, he couldn't be bothered with Star Wars until he realized that it wasn't going to end his career. In fact, it rebirthed it right at the end of it. And he's like, well, then, you know, it's because I'm a Jedi Knight. And you're like, I think of Mark Hamill's like, yeah, he kind of like hammed it up at the end. Because like you said, when he played Obi-Wan the first go around, he's like, this is gonna suck. It's so dumb and so lame, and it doesn't make any sense. And even I think there was times he would fight Lucas like endlessly, like that doesn't make any sense. Why would this be? None of this makes any sense. And they're like, come on, just. And I think Mark Hamill's like, come on, just make the damn movie. He's like, it's just a space fantasy. You're overthinking it. But, you know, and then, of course, it caught on. He's like, well, you know, the kids know what's going on. That's all that matters. I'm just playing the awesome Jedi Knight. So, you know, what do I know? And, you know, he went from being like, this sucks, I don't understand my motivation, to being like, well then, Star Wars then. Star Wars it is, pals. This is Burning Homestead. Bum, 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 bum. No, this isn't Burning Homestead. Oh, it is Burning Homestead. That was quite correct. Quite correct. We have to find a raid target. We're about 30 minutes away from that. Cup of coffee, if you're still there. Thank you for coming on by. Big, I know you're here probably still, but you probably have other... Oh, you are still here. You're lurking. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I should have called you out like that. I felt like I drove you away is what happened. Because I know I had a new friend, and I was talking to a new friend, and I was like, oh no, did I ignore old friend? No, I hope I didn't. And then I get self-conscious. I read a lot about Enneagram 3 today, and I'm like, that's me. Constantly worrying I did something wrong to offend somebody. Yep, not Enneagram 3, Enneagram 4. I'm an Enneagram 4. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Replaying, you know, they like, you rehearse conversations you'll never have, and then you're disappointed you never had them. I'm like, yep. Dias Irae. Dies Irae is the Roman Catholic chant for the dead. And it's funny, it's referenced. I don't know if it was on purpose, but it's kind of referenced in that wah, bum, 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 wah. It's usually used for like sinners repent. But I wouldn't call Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen sinners per se. But the idea that the Empire is evil is probably a good reason why that's using the Dies Irae. Oh, don't worry about it. Rehearse conversation. Pretend they already happened. So I'm not talking. Yeah, apparently it's an Enneagram 4 like characteristic. Do you know what your Enneagram is? I would often tell people, hey, have you done your Enneagram? Like, I don't go in for numerology. It's like it's not numerology. They just call them different numbers. There's about 9 different types. And strangely enough, if you've never done one, they're awesome. What they are is they basically, the questions are geared to finding what your deep, raw nerve fear is, because that's oftentimes what motivates you. You motivate to the things that make you feel strong and try to push away from things and push away from the things that make you feel unsafe or in danger. So it almost sounds like, oh God, it's scary. But no, and I looked it up and it's true. I'm going to turn off the monitor for a split. And I'm just doing that for a split second. I just want to say split. Enneagram 4 is like the individualist. They basic desire to find themselves and their significance, to create an identity. Basic fear that they have no identity or personal significance. I even turned to one of my friends I don't talk to anymore and said, I don't feel like I have a personality. I feel like I have zero personality. And I feel like I don't exist. And it's funny that it felt that way, and I'm like, oh, dear goodness. So, at our best, Enneagram 4 is profoundly creative, expressing the personal and the universal, possibly in a work of art. Inspired, self-renewing, and regenerating, able to transform all experiences into something valuable. Self-creative. At my worst, despairing, feeling hopeless, and becoming self-destructive, possibly abusing alcohol or drugs, never have, to escape. That's why it says possibly. In the extreme, emotional breakdown or suicide is likely, corresponds to the avoidant, depressive, and narcissistic personality disorders. Avoidant is me. Depressive is me. Narcissistic, I have tendencies to be that way when I'm very angry. But when I'm feeling really bad, I'm in the 7s and 8s. When dreams fail, self-inhibition and angry at self, depressed and alienated from self and others, blocked and emotionally paralyzed, ashamed of self, fatigued and unable to function. That is me to a T. Tormented by self-delusional, self-contempt, self-reproaches, self-hatred, and morbid thoughts. Everything is a source of torment. Blaming, that's me at my almost worst. Blaming others, they drive away anyone who tries to help them. Yup. Luckily, I recognize when I'm doing those self-destructive tendencies. And I try to, they said at average levels, they try to stay in touch with the feelings, to interiorize everything. They're taking everything personally, but become self-absorbed and introverted, moody and hypersensitive, shy and self-conscious, unable to spontaneous or to, quote, get out of themselves. Stay withdrawn to protect their self-image and to buy time to sort out feelings. That is me. Way too much. What I want to be is the 1, 2, and 3s. Self-aware, introspective, on the search for self, highly personalistic individuals, true to self, self-revealing, and emotionally honest, humane. Ironic view of self and life, can be serious and funny, vulnerable, and emotionally strong. I want to be there forever. Not take myself too seriously, but also know what I need to do. And the thing is, Arlene's a 6, and have you mentioned what you were at? No, number 4. Number 4 is me. The individualist. And Arlene is the loyalist, number 6. And so it says 4s and 6s have natural affinities for each other, especially since both are highly emotional and often feel insecure on people. Both tend to strong immediate feelings and act on their emotional unconscious hunches or intuitions. 6s often misidentify themselves initially as 4s because of the traits that they actually have in common. These very traits can also be the ones to bring to the relationship, namely to have an unusual degree of empathy and tolerance for each other. In short, 4s and 6s can bring each other to the feeling that they are kindred souls, connected by the feelings of abandonment and a certain distrust of others. They often feel like they're orphans in a storm, who often offer mutual support and reassurance to each other. What's interesting, though, is one of my former friends, who was a narcissist, I believe, Usually 2 and 4s make better friends and colleagues than intimates. Well, I wasn't intimate or anything with this person. But surprisingly, this pairing is rare in intimate relationships. So in other words, they don't really get close, 2s and 4s. Interesting. One would think they have a natural fit for each other because the rescuer, 2, and the rescued, type 4, the lost child and the parental figure. The problem is that there can be too much emotionality and unspoken demands of this pairing for their own good. 2s and 4s tend to have many emotional issues in common, which allows them to understand each other readily while also laying the groundwork for potential problems and conflicts, which is exactly what happened. Initially, we hit it off really well as friends. And then what happened was it collapsed on itself because her needs as a friend and my needs as a person pushed us apart. Moreover, 2s tend to find 4s too moody and temperamental, led by too much of their feelings and unconscious impulses. They see 4s as hypersensitive and absorbed. 4 sees 2 as secretly emotionally needy, desperate for others to like them and seek them out. Narcissistic, right? They can see 2's helpfulness as little more as an attempt to bribe people for love, which 4s disdain. I do. 2s generally get... also, 4s can get secretly envious of 2's social abilities. Yep. Because this person's extremely popular with everybody I know, and they can't stand me. Secret shame and the feelings of worthlessness on the part of both can undermine the relationship. Yeah, I have secret feelings of lack of worth. It can founder on 4's feelings of abandonment if the 2 becomes involved with others, and she was highly popular, so she basically and left me behind. It can also founder on 2's increasing the feeling unappreciated by the 4. Both begin to see the other as too emotionally needy, and ultimately as demanding as each wishes to put effort into. Yep. Honestly. And that's what kind of collapsed our friendship. Because they were emotionally needy, and I saw them as strong, and even though they weren't as strong as they would pretend to be, and then I see them with other people, and I'm like, well, you're saying that you're saying that you don't do things, and yet I see you with friends all the time. So that's you're being you're acting like you're wounded, and yet here you are doing fun things with people all the time. So I call her out for her ingenuity, her ingenuineness. But she also is, I think, borderline narcissistic too. Now I feel like also too, it's an easy pat answer for me to say she was on narcissistic tendencies, just so I can easily compartmentalize the collapse of the friendship. I'm taking a test. Oh yeah, please do. I want to see where you're at. Because it's not about like, oh, I'm broken, I'm not as good as other people. No, it's about your secret fears and motivations, because that's what motivates us, even if we're not aware of it. So it's like I said, when I say it's a 4, people go, oh, it's numerology. No, it's just the classification. It's nothing to do with numerology, I promise. It's not like, oh, this governs your destiny. No, it's understanding your motivations through what your fears and your values are. When you remove scientific rigor, you're no longer a mathematician. You're a numerologist. Which is from, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Pi. Not Life of Pi, the movie with the guy and the tiger and the boat, but Pi, which is by David Aronofsky, about this mathematician who goes crazy trying to track down how the stock market works mathematically. And he literally starts seeing like he falls in with like Jewish mystics, and he starts seeing all these different patterns and things, and it's just a bizarre movie about mathematics, philosophy, and at the end he thinks he found the true name of God because his computer crashed. And the thing is, it's supported by the movie, so it's not like it's hogwash. Literally, they say he's losing his mind because he's got the number memorized, and it's killing him from the inside out because he's not supposed to have that number in his head. Because he memorized the 216-digit number that represents the true name of God, and is tearing him apart. And this Hebrew rabbi's like, give me the number! It's not meant for you. And he goes, I found it! It's mine! And I'm like, oh, jeez. So, it's really a bizarre movie. It's very good, though. And it's called Pi. But the mathematician guy that's his mentor, Max's mentor, he's like this old, I think he's Greek. He's actually in Scarface. He plays a silent role as one of the assassins in the car. And when they go to bomb the guy, and the guy's got a kid in the car, that guy that's always silent, That guy plays the mathematician, and he warns Max against, going too deep into numbers theory. He says, when you start getting too much of the numbers and you remove scientific rigor, you're no longer a mathematician. You're a numerologist. Like Scully, his former student. Like, don't go down the path of numerology. This is the binary sunset, but this is the alternate take. John Williams wrote this, and he revised it. He's like, yeah, no, it's too dark. Isn't this crazy how, like, you're like, yeah, he picked the right one with that. Wah, 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 wah. It's much more, it's less dark and gloomy. Because it's supposed to be, he's looking at this reflection, thinking about his future and what it could mean. And instead, the other one sounds like he's like, it's way too emotional. Like, I like hearing these sort of alternate takes, but at the end of the day, the one Williams did was the right take. The one in the movie is the right take, without a doubt. Like, we didn't get the incorrect version. We got the right version in the movie. You're like, yeah, Williams was right. He was like, it's not working for me. It's not working. Rewrote it, and it's like, yep, the version of the movie, like, that's perfect. No wonder he rewrote it. This version is not right. It's good. The one he did was way better, though. Also, can we say the corny rendition of the Star Wars film theme in the middle of that? Listen how corny that was. He never uses the Star Wars theme like this. Listen to this crap. Wah, 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 wah. Like he was referencing the Star Wars theme, but it didn't feel good. Maybe it wasn't a direct reference, but it still was kind of weird. Okay, so in 5 minutes into this alternate take, we get the first recording of the Star Wars theme. The first ever. Listen. First ever in the studio. Listen to those woodwinds. All over the place. And for future versions, it's like, nah, that's too much woodwinds. Screaming at the top there. Also notice a really weird version of what happens here. We have BOOM at the beginning of it. You notice that? You have that BOOM. It's not BOOM. You have a run up to the chord. And he was like, nah, that's not working. And also, it's better without the run because it goes right from the 20th century fanfare wrapping up right to the chord loud in your ear. And it's also interesting that even as he revised the theme, he really didn't touch this part. When you first see Tantive 4, never touched it again. That was perfect the way it was. He spent all his time retooling the main Star Wars theme leading up to it. Take 17. There's that run again. Still the woodwinds are screaming away. And actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, the final take used in the movie actually uses bits and pieces of some of the versions of this, but not all of one take. And actually, also funny enough, every time you hear the Star Wars theme in a movie, it's always a re-recording. And actually, he reorchestrated it for each, for Empire and for slightly different things. But for Empire and for Return of the Jedi, they both have different versions in Star Wars. That one was very timpani heavy. Boom, 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 boom. It's weird to hear how different Star Wars would have been if he hadn't kept poking around at it, right? This is kind of one of those cool things where they have on these bonus tracks, you know. Again, the Tantive 4 approach music, I don't think he changed it. He's like, that part's right, the rest of it's not. Bum 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 ba-dum 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 ba-dum. So here comes the next take. He's getting closer, though. He's getting closer. Still the run upwards. I think this is the one they substantially used in the movie, though. The woodwinds are just there for color. They're not there to be overwhelming. See, he's getting bits and pieces of it. He's like, okay, I like this. He's like, but it's a little strong. So he scaled it back. He kind of pulled some of the majesty away from the woodwinds. See, in Jedi, that is like by a solo trumpet, rather than the woodwinds doing that little whoop. Just my engrams. I got a 7. You're a 7. I was hoping when you continued that saga, I wanted to know what happened. Wom bum 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 bum. So I'm looking through like some of the things of like, oh, this is what they share in common. I'm like, yep, we have a lot of those things in common, I would say. We finally cut the opening run. The Enthusiast. Enthusiastic about almost everything. I would say you are very much curiosity. Oh, that is, yeah. They have a quality best described as the English word chutzpah, a kind of brash nerviness. Not nervousness, but nerviness. Sevens are frequently endowed with quick, agile minds or exceptionally fast learners. That does strike me. You do have a very, very intelligent and astute mind. Assimilating experiences in depth. Yeah. I saw how it worked. I hate when they say relationship because I'm like, not romantic. I just want to know about friendship. They said they bring a capacity for joy, ecstasy, spontaneity, emotion, and for passion. Both 4s and 7s love lively conversation and pass the hours sharing detailed accounts of their events of the day. I could very much see that. Small Blueberry, welcome on in. We were talking about Enneagrams. I don't know if you've ever done that before. An Enneagram test is just like, it just looks at who you are as a person, your fears, your interests, and kind of tries to understand you based on what could motivate you through what you like and what your fears could be. I hate to keep saying fears, but it's true. Because like, a lot of what we do is to protect ourselves from the things we fear the most. So the Enneagram tries to figure out what it is that we value to protect ourselves from. So this is the weaker version of that. He didn't use this take in the final version. I feel like the opening of this was the take he used for the opening sequence of it. Have you ever done your Enneagram? Small Blueberry? Not staying long. I got a lot on my mind right now, but I'm supposed to Poskemon. You got some free ones. You brat. You're lucky. Those wonderful paint markers. Poskas. They're going, oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, how'd you get them for free? Like, one of my old monitors for college was actually a throwaway. They were like, oh, it's substandard. We got new monitors anyway. And I'm like, it's a perfectly good monitor. And my uncle gave it to me. I'm like, heck yeah. It was a beautiful, beautiful monitor. What we're doing now is we're listening actually to the Star Wars, the original takes of the Star Wars theme from the first movie. And these are bonus tracks on the Star Wars New Hope reissued soundtrack. And you can hear all the different versions that John Williams went through. Moopsie! Before he came to the final version.
Gigi! Nerf this!
Well, now they're all on cooldown now, aren't they? Thanks for the redeem, Small Blueberry. You're gonna come in with a bang. But it's interesting to hear Williams' creative process as he tried to figure out, how do I make the Star Wars theme sound like right? It's easy to think of it now, but he didn't know what the right sound was, and he kind of went through different versions of it to make sure he got it right. But it's interesting to hear an artist struggle. We take it for granted that he just put his pen to paper and made the Star Wars theme and it was awesome. No, he struggled with it for a minute. He was like, the woodwinds, are they too strong? Are they too much? Saved over. You're like, I've been waiting for a long time to unleash that into the world. That's funny. I know you haven't been here as much, so that must have been a big save up too. Not through your fault. Like, it's not. I know you've been pretty busy with a lot on your plate. Scarlet Reaper, welcome on in. Raiders, Podunk, welcome on in. See, I looked down for a second because Small Blueberry redeemed a bunch of sound redeems. And that's what happened. Hi, welcome on in, Podunk. Of course, guys, if you're new here, my name is Jason Enos Art. I do art. Sometimes I do gaming, to my shame. But I've been trying to focus on my art now that I have a commission of this guy. Let me pull up the screen. Where's that button? There we go. What were you working on, Podunk? Besides, I know how you work, but what were you working on? Hello. Welcome in. Like I said, I'm working on this little guy. I like to turn him around so you guys can see what I was working on. Obviously, well, I want to say obviously, but he's in Copic markers. It's a commission of a friend's family member's dog. So I think it's my friend's family member's late dog. So it's a commemorative piece, but I think it's coming out quite nice. I'm happy with where it's going so far. I mean, look at those eyes. I mean, how genuine. So I'm just getting some of the bulking in some of the fur bits in here. And I was listening to, this is the original Star Wars soundtrack. And we just got through listening to all the takes John Williams did to try to figure out how to make the original Star Wars theme awesome. And how it took him so many different recordings. And he'd record and go, wrong, rewrite it, wrong. I mean, the melodies were the same, but he'd go, that woodwinds are too strong here. The strings need their parts out more. Cut that, that's too much. Am redoing the wheel. Seriously, I'm doing a whole new deck. Oh, you're doing like a tarot card deck when you said the wheel, right? That's what I would assume. Right? Guys, if you don't know Podunk, Podunk's amazing. They do amazing art, and I don't know how they work in the way they do. A lot of what Podunk does is lots of tiny little dots. And it would drive me up the wall. No, playing cards. Okay, I don't know why I thought tarot cards. Brain wasn't braining, I guess. But like if you, it's what would be called in the art worlds as pointillism, which is little tiny dots. Seurat did that and went mad. No, he didn't go mad. But that's the most famous artist when people think about little dots is Seurat. But it's not the only person. He's the only person that like really was like, what if I did this with color theory? And wanted to make little pure dabs of color to keep the colors as pure and as bright and as vibrant, so they would mix in your eye to make kind of a. He was trying to shoot for the most vibrant possible colors of all, and a shimmering effect. But again, he didn't make pointillism, and he's not the only artist to ever work in pointillism. He was just the one that was like, if I use that, I can make colors shimmer before people's eyes. And because of that, people think of him as the only artist that did that, but he wasn't. And Podunk does lots of little tiny dots, and I don't know how they do it. Because it would drive me up a wall to do lots of tiny little dots. I would have no patience for it. But what we work, I know, do you have an image of what you were working on tonight? And also, Scarlet Reaper, I saw your resub. Thank you for the resub. Wow. This is Princess Leia's theme as a sweet version. So it's the pure... Oh, give you a second. Of course. And you can share the link as freely as when you get it, because it will not time you out. Like I said before, we have free link sharing here. It will not time you out. I haven't had an issue with any people spamming or sending inappropriate links. If that would get to be an issue, I would have to turn that off. But as of this moment... everybody's behaved themselves, and so because of that, we get to enjoy the benefits where we get to share links freely without any consequence because, y'all behave. And I appreciate that. But I know not all channels are so lucky. I hate to say a lot of my femme friends go through issues with just link sharing and hate spamming and all this other stuff, and I get why they have to turn those things off, and I feel sad that they have to, but I also know it's a necessary thing that has to be done to keep themselves safe. But here, it's not a problem yet, so that's good news. 3 years. Has it been 3 years? No way! Kamei? Is that who I think it is? It is you! Oh my god! I haven't seen you in years! 3 years for Small Blueberry. They've been here for 3 years. But how have you been? We just got rated by Podunk. It is. I still have this. I know. I left you with the mod on. And I'm like, that can't be my mod that's disappeared for ages. When was the last time I had 2 mods in chat? I've been good. I've been up and down. More up lately than down. Did we talk when I lost my job? I lost my job. I got fired from my last job. When was the last time we talked? Was it back in 2022, or did I fill you in on that? I lost my job, got an awesome new job. I work in auto finance, which isn't as awesome. But what's awesome is I'm good at it. And I used to work in the part I call people and say, you're behind on your car payments. And now I work in the part that says, hey, your car was picked up. Let's get you back in your car. Actually, let's get that as a drop your emotes because they bounce against the biddies. Like the balls interact with your... look at that. Isn't that great? Oh, the chaos is wonderful. Thank you for the bits. And Small Bluey landed. I just fell off, but I'm glad the balls bounce a minute. Because it's kind of annoying that you don't know oh, they just went away. Oh, man. Cup of coffee, thank you for this. Oh, no. Well, thank you for the sub. But thank you, Kamei, for gifting Cup of Coffee a sub. That was super nice of you. Like I said, I know last time we talked, you just got your new job. And like I said, I just made you a mod, and then that happened. I was like, no! Like, it's not important. Like I said, I don't really need heavy moderation in my channel. I was just talking about that. But at the same time, it was one of those things like, no, I just got to know you, and now you have to go away. And I get it. Like, it wasn't like I was angry. It was just one of those, like, I just made a good friend at work, going to another department. Ad snoozed automatically. Look at that. I got a new Lego set. Tell me about that. What Lego set did you get? Just Mystic Coffee. Yeah. How about that? It snoozed the ad. I'm on a hype train. What the heck? That's why it snoozed the ad, because of the biddies in the sub. No. We're snoozing that. I don't think I've had a hype train ever. No, I have. It's been a minute, though. Level 2 hype train, though. Hypoo, indeed. Level 2 hype train. I've never even actually... Up. Drop your emotes, guys. Exclamation point drop. Thank you for the bits, Podunk. Hype indeed. Well, by doing that, you can get some emotes, Podunk, and also Kamei. Yep, because when you submit bits, the balls that drop. Oh no! Double robbed. I saw that. Boink. Not another. You gotta stop, Kamei. You must be stopped, Menace. I know, right? You got cheated out of that, and a cup of coffee lands perfectly. I don't know how sorry. Don't know how sorry what? How to stop? Like I said, last I knew you had your new job and it was working out for you, but it kept you away from Twitch. And honestly, I haven't been doing a lot of watching outside of like a couple friends' streams. I'm trying to get back into it, but I've been kind of out of the loop on streaming myself. Between things I've been doing outside of work, plus just work in general keeping me busy. And now work got slow, and that's what worries me, because I'm like, slow work means not much need for Jason. That doesn't mean I'm going bye-bye. What is the meaning of stop? Oh, no! You just subbed to Small Blueberry too? Oh! Made my day better. Oh. So, I wish sometimes that moderators got free subs to the channel, but I guess people would moderate all their friends to give them free subs so they wouldn't have to have the ads. But, I don't know. There's been times I was moderating for a channel and I was like, I really just need to see what's going on in the channel so I can moderate. But thank you for all the gifted subs, Kamei. I started teaching. I didn't want to say. I knew it was teaching, but I didn't want to say because I wasn't sure if you were comfy with sharing that. It's okay that you told me. Not told us. We knew. So I started curriculum, and I had to create my own curriculum. So I've been crazy, but I just didn't get on Twitch at all for almost a whole year. I mean, honestly, how long has it been since I've seen you? I mean, I think I've seen you in Debbie Cat's stream. Okay, perfect. Oh, that's just your Instagram. I need to know what you were doing today. Unless it's in your Instagram. Oh, and it's on the screen the whole time. Oh, yeah, we'll pull it up. Hold on. Oh, I hate when it gives me a notification. The notification is, hey, someone else is on Instagram. I wasn't there for almost 9 months. I did see you briefly. Yeah, I'm going to pull it up here. But I know a trick. Because this isn't the full size. But I have a trick. There's a little thing you put in there. You put this after your Instagram post. Like you get to the actual image. Then you copy and paste that little bit of hash. And it takes you to the full size photo. So you don't have to see the little tiny thumbnail in Instagram. Because screw that. I hope it still continues your drop. Yep, it did. Maybe the rebound. Oh, perfect. We got somebody. Oh, nope, snoozing that one too. But here we got Podunk's work. Here's what I'm talking about. Look, I'm gonna go back to We're gonna go up to the Instagram as well, so we have it as a backup too. But when I'm talking about little dots, look at that. I got a level 1 hype train emote. I didn't even know. I didn't know I got one as being a streamer. But look at the little tiny dots. If you copy and paste the hash, did I share the hash? I don't know if I shared the hash, but that's the hash. You can go right to the original image. You see. Yeah, isn't this like beautiful stuff? What? Wait. Oh, it's because I'm on a link. I need to go to the actual Instagram. Hold on. There we go. There's some wonderful, wonderful little pieces of just dots. I'm trying to find one. Man, you've been busy. You've been so busy, Podunk. Like, look at this one. Like, if this doesn't make you want to lose your mind, first of all, it's good looking. It's beautiful. Second of all, just all the fucking dots. Like stippling. Or, like I said, it's also called pointillism. But it's like, how? Oh, you're your Inktober. That's a rhinoceros butt. But I'm trying to find. Look at the ridiculous. Look at this. It's very space oriented. Star chart. We're gonna go back to the new piece in a moment. I just want to find one. Look at how. Okay, this is one of those inks. You did an ink stain piece, right? And you ink stained, and then they draw all these lines with microns. I couldn't do Inktober. I couldn't get it done either. Why does it say hidden? Why is it hidden? Why are you... I'm going to like both those comments, because Pegleg's amazing too. But, like, little tiny dots... Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. This is ink run, isn't it? You do, like, ink runs, and then you draw it in with pencil. Look at the pens. Look how beautiful this is. It's like a stained glass window. And it's part of the process, you see. Inking around the stains of that the ink made on the paper. Isn't it beautiful? It creates like almost like a lacy stained glass effect. Is it? Proud Nugo, welcome on it. Now I've got 3 mods in chat. It's probably the first time I've had 3 mods in chat. Look at all this. Okay, this is it right here. This is the piece I was thinking of. Look at this. Okay, this isn't a dot piece, but look at all this craziness. Okay, we're going to do this real quick. Can we get a bigger one of this? Can we get a bigger one of this? Here we go. Boom. Look at how beautiful this is. And it's inspired by the stains that they made in the previous step. So, like, for example, come on, work for me today. Come on, you want to work for me? Come on. You can be good for me. Can't you? You can. Alcohol markers, alcohol rubs, washes, and microns. Yeah, because you can get Copic refills in little vials. Not vial, V-I-L-E, like evil. But vials in V-I-V-I-A-L, like a syringe. And actually, the newest ones actually do have a syringe tip on them. This is what they look like right here. Let me put this bad boy up here. And actually, I don't know if you use Copic ink, but there's this ink, and there's other inks you could use too. But Copic's trying to get in that market by making their bottles like that now. Wink, wink. So they're trying to get in that market of, oh, look, we could be cool and have ink art too. Aren't they beautiful? Give Podunk a follow if you don't already, because they're just a great person. and a talented artist with beautiful work. I mean, there's just pieces that stand out. Like, look at this. This is like the original step. Fireworks through a rainy window. You do this part. Oh, is it a video? I didn't realize it was a video of all the different steps. But isn't that insane? Like, it starts off with just this. And they're like, okay, let me just start penning that in. And with a micron, just adding all those layers of extra. To me, it reminds me of stained glass. Because it starts off so simple, but then letting the ink flow determine what the shapes are on top. So, like, tracing around the ink flow. But that's not as easy as it sounds, because ink doesn't have hard lines all the time. This is the newest piece, though. But look at did you do any dots on this? I see little circles. But am I seeing dots? I don't see any dots. What's the N mean, by the way? I see what looks like an N. How big are these? Well, how big are these is answered by the fact that I'm looking at a micron. Wookiee prisoner detention cell. Well, now you know the name of the piece. But the micron is about this big. So that means they're probably, what, 16 by 20? Oh. Well, 3 of you have subs. So, well, no, most of the people here have subs, actually. Kamei has one, I think. Yes. Small Blueberry does. Cup of Coffee does. Podunk does. And Scarlet just resubscribed, too. You did that on your own. So I think almost everybody here has got a sub except for Proud Nerd Girl. Anyway, did you do this as marker dots first? Dots? Really? So there were dots first, and then you did circles around them? Wait, who does it? No, I didn't say anybody. Everybody's got a sub here. N is for north. Okay, cool. Oh, I do see a compass in there. I feel like there's a lot more metaphorically going on that I'm missing. What am I missing here? Like, help. I mean, it's cool. The design is awesome. But what are you doing? I want to know what's going on here. Yes, there's dots in there. Okay. Oh, I think it may be in that. I want to zoom in, but I can't. Because it's not you. It's the Instagram photo is only this big. Like, this is the biggest resolution. I know that because I put in the little cheat code. I'm just laughing. Why are you laughing? No! You weren't supposed to find a person! You weren't supposed to... I'm just amazed. Right? It's just beautiful stuff. 3 mods in 1 stream. I know. What am I? A partner? What am I? A Twitch partner now? But this is... Like I said, you do beautiful work. I feel like there's a lot metaphorically going on. Is this a hat? Like, this is like a cap, isn't it? And I'm seeing what looks like water coming out the bottom. And I'm like, see? That's why... Yo, you... Bruh. Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful. Like I said, I feel like there's a metaphor going on here. And I feel like if you've told me, Podunk, and I've missed it, I feel dumb. Well, not dumb. I'm not used to dealing with alcohol markers, rubs, washes, and microns. Yep, I saw that. I'm looking to see if I've got the story of this piece, and I'm not. Well, it might actually be in your Instagram. Let's look. Let's go to their profile. Look for clues, gang. Doing playing cards. Oh, using NSEW. That was my alarm to tell me to take my puppy out. But we should be raiding probably soon anyway. And yeah, that's right. I got it now. So instead of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds, you're doing north, south, east, west. Nice. So what you're doing here is north, I guess, is represented by the north wind. You know, 52 pieces, right? Because there's 13 cards in total. Ace through 10 plus the king, queen, jack, which makes 13. 4 suits makes a total of 52 cards. My ears hurt from being in these headphones all the time. So that makes sense. So instead of hearts, spades, clubs, diamonds, you're going to do north, south, east, west. Funny enough, too, I found out this about Vietnamese culture. The directions for north, south, east, and west, their words for those are unisex names for people. Like, you could name a child North, and it could be either a boy or a girl. Basically, the cardinal directions in Vietnamese, the Vietnamese language, are unisex names for kids. So you could know a boy named North and a girl named North, or a boy named South and a girl named South. I actually knew a brother, and his 3 other brothers, he was like, his name is Nam, and I think it means like South, and his other brothers were East, West, and North. So it's interesting that you went with this way, because it's a very basic thing all around the world to recognize the cardinal directions. Because it's basic. It's you literally, a magnet points north. You know? And we always think of a grid. You know? Forwards, backwards, left or right. We don't think of much else besides that. You either have forwards or back. You have XY coordinates. So it's a very, very basic thing to the whole world to understand. North is, north, south, forwards, backwards, left, and right. We always recognize those as 4 directions. So it's much more basic than just 4 symbols that were arbitrarily chosen after centuries of making, decades, probably centuries of making cards. What even is a club? What is it? I mean, it looks like a clover. Why do we call it a club? Who knows? It doesn't look like anything. It looks like a clover leaf. Spade, it kind of looks like a shovel. Hearts and diamonds actually look like what they're supposed to look like. But the black suits, what do they even mean? This is super cool. Oh, I saw the jack. It's a cap, and the queen has a crown. I just got that. There's a lot to be dissected when I start picking it apart. See, once you told me they were north, south, east, west, I'm like, so the jack represents the cap, and the queen has a crown? Interesting. Podunk, thank you for sharing this. I can't wait to see more of this. This is a tease. This is literally a tease. I'm like, I need to see more of this. It's going to be cool when it's done. We got to end with a group drop. We will. Did we do one? We're going to do one anyway. No redeem. We're just going to... Wait, can we do this? Start drop? No, that didn't work. Let's reset that. And did that work for the... it doesn't do a group drop. I have to do it? No, it did it. Now I do that. Yep. And then let's find somebody to raid. Let me also get this off my screen so you don't see me shopping for a raid target. I do need to find one, though. I'm about 15 minutes past, but I wanted to see Podunk's work and also showcase it. Who do we have that's on that I haven't rated recently? We've rated Be It Easel within the last week or so she's off the table. I really wanted to raid this one person called... Oh, poo. Oh, no, we've already got ads. Everybody's pretty much got a sub. Well, who am I going to raid? Because I don't want to raid Be It Easel. I just raided them within the week or so. I don't think one of my other friends is on. Who's I was thinking of? You know who our mutual friend. No, he is on. We should raid him because it's been a minute since we've raided him. Oh, did it not go? Let's try it now. I'm not sure if it did it. I didn't want to lose it because sometimes it will time out. Look at the chaos. We got 4 people. I'm going to bounce off against them. No, that's not me. That's Small Blueberry. We might wind up keeping Blueberry in the pool. I booped you, but not enough to keep myself in the pool. I pushed you into the pool, and then I bounced out from it. No, I did. Oh, actually, I did land. 17. Barely on the edge, but 17. And you landed for 38. You got in. It was barely. It went gray, so I assumed it wasn't. But I kind of hit you from and downed you into the pool. But we should raid, what's his name? If I have one, if you need one, they're a woodcrafter. That's not against it, but I think I do want to raid a mutual friend that we have. Podunk and I have a mutual friend. What's his name? Peg Leg Standoff. I didn't feel like I did get much done tonight, but I also have to compare it to my last effort, which I feel like there's a lot of twists and turns in the fur. So I have to be kind to myself and remind myself it's very complicated. I haven't mapped out all the little twists and turns in the fur. So I shouldn't make myself feel bad. Oh, is she still on? I don't think NECA's still on. We could raid NECA if she was on, but I think she went off the air. NECA is amazing, but she's got her raid set to 5 or more viewers. Probably because she's gotten hate rated. If you have one, you already said that. Sorry, we read that. But I think Peg Leg will be good. But yeah, let me look at my Twitter, because that was my progress from last time. Supermarket Simulator. That person's playing Supermarket Simulator. I've seen Markiplier play that, and it's crazy. This is a trash compactor from Star Wars, by the way. Oh no, I'm getting sidetracked. Faye Valentine Ash. Oh, why? Jet Black Mauga and... Yeah, okay. That's going to be amazing. This is looking amazing again. So, thank you for rating too. I'm trying to pull up my original piece that I worked on. I got sidetracked because I saw a post. Oh, look. One of my favorite games, Overwatch, is doing Italian to Cowboy Bebop. Bebop. Oh, yeah, we did almost this entire bottom part and this part. Yeah, we shouldn't feel bad about progress. Yeah, we did a good chunk of it. Let's go ahead and rate out to Pegleg. Thank you, everybody, for the raid. Podunk for the raid. Thank you, Kamei, for all the gifted subs. And also, there was another new friend, Recluse Moose. Thank you for the bits. Also, Kamei, thank you for the bits. And Podunk, also, I believe you also donated some bits as well. Everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for coming by, Kamei. I haven't seen your mind at Podunk. Again, thank you for the raid. I probably thank some people 15 times because I'm so grateful. My last two or three streams have been pretty amazing. It's been pretty quiet in here for a while, and then all of a sudden it started picking up again. Let's find... Oh, not find. Let's go to Pegleg, because he's an amazing guy and he needs some love. Everybody, thank you for... I'll be back Tuesday, continue working on Puppo here, and let's go show Pegleg some love. If you can't stick around for long, at least stick around for the raid, say a quick hello, and I'm probably going to have to let my puppy out and do other after-work post-stream things. Guys, I love you. I will see you again through Tuesday at 8 p.m. And we'll be working more on Puppy. Thanks, guys. Let's go ahead and, like I said, give Pegleg some... Ooh, I got to open up his channel or I'm going to have trouble right here in River City. Because I always raid out and I never have the channel preloaded. And then I get ads and then I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. We have 9 viewers ready to go see Pegleg. Yes, let's go see him once I've got... Show more. Wait, don't I have him on my stream deck as a hot button? Yeah, there he is. There's a whole reason of having him on the button. All right, guys, I love you. I will see you again Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for everything, and have a good night.